All righty, it's 1:30 on February 25th. I'm Jeff Goldberg, and if you came to hear about how you can confidently enroll more clients without being salesy or pushy, you're in the right place. This is about how to turn excellent conversations into paying clients, and you're in the right place if you are a coach or a consultant or a boy, I just had a brain fart. If you're a solopreneur, if you're a small business owner, or if you're a professional salesperson who just doesn't want to be pushy or salesy, this is the right place for you. So what happens quite often in my experience is I'll meet with coaches, I'll meet with consultants, and they'll tell me that they're having great calls. The conversations are going wonderful. People are talking to them, they're connecting, everything flows naturally, everything feels right. And at the end, nothing happens. They don't enroll in your program. They tell you they've got to think it over. And worse, that's the last time you ever speak with them. They never answer your calls again. They never answer your emails again. They start ghosting you. Well, the truth is, it's probably not that you have a lead problem, although it's certainly possible that that's true, but you probably more likely have a conversation problem. You don't know how to have an enrollment conversation without being pushy, without being salesy, without coming on like a strong arm salesperson trying to talk people into something that they don't want, which I'm betting you don't want to do anyways. The prospect doesn't want that. You don't want that. So we shouldn't be doing that. If you're hearing things like you get to the end of the conversation and they're telling you, I'll think it over. Let me get back to you. Let me check my schedule. Let me talk to my spouse. Let me talk to my partner. Can you send me some literature? These responses, they feel like they're objections, but they're really just the prospect telling you they're not interested most of the time. They're signals that in the conversation that you had, something was missing. The call wasn't structured properly, and something was missing in the connection that you wanted to make with them that actually got them to go, you know what? I actually need this product, or I actually need this service. So this is for coaches, but not just for coaches. As I said, it's for coaches and consultants, it's for creatives, it's for solopreneurs, it's for small business owners. It's for anybody who wants to sell but doesn't want to be pushy. If you are, let's just say you're a coach. You don't want to sell. You certainly don't want to be seen as salesy. You certainly don't want to be seen as pushy. You probably don't like asking for money. You feel uncomfortable with that. And you just really wish people would just enroll. Hey, I heard you're a great coach. Sign me up. If you're genuinely good at helping people, but you're having problems getting them to enroll so that you can help them, you're in the right place. If you're already closing 75, 80%, 90% of the people that you speak with, you can leave right now. You don't need any of this. But if you're relying on referrals and warm leads or people who already trust you and you're still not converting as many people as you'd like, or if you're doing cold email marketing or calling or anything like that, you're in the right place today. So here's why I created this. I'm a sales coach and trainer. For the last 50 years, I've been in sales, professional sales. And for the last 21, I've owned my own sales training company where I've, for the most part, worked with professional sales organizations. And I've worked at companies that you know of, like Cisco Systems, Siemens, Aramark, State Farm, Citibank, and I've trained organizations all over the world. I've actually spoken and trained in front of tens of thousands of salespeople all over the globe. And I've watched as what I call accidental salespeople, coaches, consultants, solopreneurs, people like that. They're struggling with the same thing over and over. They're really, really good at what they do. You may be really great at what you do, but you're probably scratching your head and going, I'm such a great weight loss coach, or I'm such a great relationship coach, or I'm such a great business coach. Why aren't people flocking to me? Why is the phone not ringing? Why am I not making more money? Why am I not serving more people? So the problem is you can be great at what you do. Terrific. You may be the best at what you do. But when it comes to enrollment, when it comes to having an enrollment conversation with a potential client, you may be hesitant. You may overhelp. You may give them too much information so that they don't need you anymore. Or you may just be avoiding making a clear invitation. In other words, actually asking people, would they like to do business with you? And here's what I don't do. I don't teach pushy. I don't teach salesy. I don't teach manipulation. I don't teach people how to convince, persuade, or talk people into things. All I talk about is how do you have a great conversation or a great series of conversations that end up with more people choosing to do business with you, because that's really what sales is. Sales is not about convincing, and it's not about persuading, even though almost every book you might read on sales and every person who does what I do, training, that's what they're probably going to tell you. It's just not true. Sales is a conversation or series of conversations leading to help the other person choose to do business with you. There's no pressure. There's no pushiness needed. All you have to do is have a great conversation and ask people if they'd like to work with you. Obviously, you have to do that a little more skillfully than I just made it sound. But there are steps to the sale that you can follow easily and naturally without feeling bad about it, so that more people end up giving you the information you need to help them, and then actually signing up, registering to be in your program, let you be their coach, let you be their consultant, whatever you're trying to accomplish. Here's what most people just don't want to talk about. Most coaches and consultants believe I just need more leads, or maybe I need better leads. If I just had more people to talk to, I'd get more clients. And I want you to know something. To a certain extent, that's true. You probably heard the expression, sales is a numbers game. And to a certain extent, it is a numbers game. The more people you speak with, as long as you're speaking to the right people, the greater the chances of one of them choosing, or more than one of them, choosing to do business with you. But if you are speaking to lots and lots of people and you're still not closing some of them, enough of them aren't enrolling, you're doing something wrong. And the real problem is almost definitely you don't need more leads. You probably don't even need better leads. You just need to know, how do I have a conversation with somebody that leads them from point A to point B? Point A being, hi, it's nice to meet you. And point B being, yes, I'd like to enroll. I'd like to be in your course. I'd like you to be my coach. I'd like you to be whatever it is you're trying to offer. When you fix the conversation, when you learn how to have a better conversation, everything changes. More people will actually start saying yes to you when you learn to have the proper conversation. So just in case you're watching this and you don't know what a discovery call is, that's typically the first meeting we have with somebody, where the goal is to establish rapport with them and gather information. The more information we get, the better we're able to understand what their situation is and whether or not we can help them. And here's why most discovery calls don't convert into paying clients. They fall short for very predictable reasons. First of all, there's no structure to the call. You, and I'm not talking to anybody, I'm not accusing you directly of this. I'm talking in general, of course, but there's no structure. And that means the conversation goes back and forth. It goes to the left, it goes to the right, it goes over to San Francisco, then it goes up to Seattle, then it goes over to New Hampshire, then it crosses down to Florida. And it just keeps on going all over the place. And there's no beginning, there's no middle, and there's no end. So if there's no structure, people don't know what to do. Your prospect doesn't know what to do if you're not leading them in the right direction. Another reason why discovery calls don't convert is because we're afraid to ask for the business. We're afraid that we're going to be seen as pushy. We're afraid that we're going to be seen as salesy. We're also afraid that we're going to hear the word no. And I want you to learn, if you work away with nothing else in the next 20 minutes or so that we'll be together, I'd like you to learn this. Learn to love the word no. I've been in professional sales for 50 years. Yes is my very favorite word, but no is my second favorite. And I'm not kidding you. If yes is here, no is right here. No is a very close second to yes for me. Everything else sucks. I've got to talk to my partner. I've got to think it over. I've got to take it to the committee. All that stuff sucks. I make it very, very easy for people to say yes to me. I make it just as easy for them to say no, because I'm not here to argue with anybody. And neither are you. If you're watching this webinar, you're not looking to have arguments with people where you've got to convince them to do business with you. You just want to help. But there's also another thing that happens when you're doing discovery calls, and why they don't convert is you're over helping. You're giving away too much information. We call that unpaid consulting. When you give the prospect all the information they need to either do whatever you would do for them on your own, or take that information and go to somebody else and have them do it for them. So they feel all satisfied at the end of the call. They don't need you. Another reason why discovery calls don't convert is you just don't ask. You kind of hint, you kind of tap around the foot of the mountain. You hint at maybe you'd like to do business together, but you never actually ask. And you also don't know how to convert, how to transition from one step of the sale to the other. You don't know how to go from hello to closed in a logical order. Most coaches don't lose clients. It's just that they fail to invite them to be their client in the first place. So the reason the reason that I say hope is not a great strategy is not just that I've heard that for many, many years. It's because it's true. Let's say you have a great meeting with somebody. You have a first initial call. Maybe you're face to face over some coffee. Maybe you're on Zoom or Teams, or maybe you're talking to somebody over the phone, and everything went really, really well. You felt a real connection, and you could tell they did too. You asked a bunch of good questions, and they asked a bunch of good questions. And based on the answers that they gave you, you know that you're exactly what they need. You can absolutely help. Whatever their issue is, they're overweight, they don't have a good relationship, they're not closing it up, whatever their situation is, you know that you are the answer. And the call is winding down. And then you say to end it, well, let me know what you think. Well, that's letting people off the hook too easily, because here's what happens typically. You wait, and then you wait some more, and then you wait some more. And you hope, and every day you're checking your email to see if they've decided to reach out to you and say, yes, I'd like to be your client. Every day you're waiting for the phone to ring, and nothing's happening. And that's because you're leaving the decision in their hands without guiding them. So your job is not to convince and not to persuade and not to talk people into things. I don't believe you're good enough to do that. And by the way, I don't believe I am either. With 50 years of experience, I'm not good enough, and I'm not looking to talk anybody into anything that they don't want, don't need, or can't afford. But I do know that part of my job when I'm speaking to my prospects is to guide them through a process that at the end gives them the opportunity to say, yes, I'd like to do business with you. I'd like to work with you, Jeff, or no, if that's going to be the answer. But hoping that things are going to turn around, hoping they're going to call you, hoping they're going to return your emails, that's not a great strategy for serving people, and it's not a great strategy for making money. So the shift that you need to make, in my not very humble opinion, the mindset shift is confidence. You've got to have confidence. And most coaches I find, when I'm observing them on their sales calls or their discovery calls, they just don't seem confident. Confidence is not just about personality. We meet somebody sometimes and we go, wow, that's a really confident person. If you've ever seen Tony Robbins in person, when he walks onto a stage, there's a confident guy. But Tony Robbins wasn't born with confidence, and neither was I, even though I've got plenty of it. Confidence is the result of studying, learning, and preparing. When you know what to say, you feel better about asking questions and asking for business. And clients feel better about saying yes when they feel you are confident, because if you are not confident in the things you're saying, it's transferring over, even if you're using the right words. People can pick up on a lack of confidence in your body language, in the way you say things, in the speed that you speak. There's all kinds of things that exude confidence or don't. So you're going to feel better about asking for business, and people are going to feel better about giving you their business when you come across with confidence. When you're following a proven structure, ones that's worked time after time after time with tens of thousands of people, you can be confident if you learn it and practice it. So this is the actual framework that I teach, the Confident Enrollment Method. And it's a 7-step method to show people how you can take them from whatever they need to do, which is a missing in their life, to actually having that in their life, and doing it without sounding like a robot, without sounding pushy. This is not about pushing people. This is not about pressure. I don't teach pressure at all. And by the way, I know how to pressure. I've been selling a long, long time. And the very first thing I sold was Encyclopedia Britannica 50 years ago. Now, for those of you who are too young that are watching this right now, those were books, but not just books. They were a $2,000 set of books 50 years ago that you could send your kids to the library to use for free. This was a hard sell. It was a very pushy sell. It was absolutely what we call a one-call close, meaning when you first spoke with the people who were interested in Encyclopedia Britannica, they either bought it that day or they never were gonna. So I know how to be pushy. It's not about that. It's not about being a robot. It's not about even memorizing scripts. It's just about leadership and confidence and taking people through a process that gets them to where you want them to go, which is hopefully to say yes to doing business with you. And of course, that's only if you're right for them and they're right for you. So the 7-step framework works like this. The first thing you have to do in any sale is establish rapport with people. Because remember, I don't care what your actual title is. Let's just call you a coach. Let's say you're a weight loss coach. Well, you can have the title coach, but that doesn't mean anything to people. You need to let people get to know you a little, and you need to get to know them a little. And you do that in order to establish rapport, because people do business with people that they like and trust. So if you skip the establishing rapport step, then you do everything else right. You're still going to walk away most times without closing business, because they don't know you enough. They don't like you enough. They don't trust you enough. The next thing we have to do in the process is gain the right to ask questions. Now, here's why I say that. Questions are the key to selling. Confidence is the key to moving through the 7-step framework. But if you want to close more business, you need to be a better question asker. And we want to ask a lot of questions when we're selling, when we're having an enrollment conversation with somebody. But I think it's safe to assume that when somebody agrees to have a conversation with you about possibly doing business with you, they assume you're going to ask some questions. But I believe it's crucial that we gain the right to them. We actually gain permission from them to ask questions, excuse me, so that we can ask lots and lots of questions, so that we can figure out if we can help them or not. And if so, how we can help them. So we gain the right. We do that by getting them to ask us a question. And the question we get them to ask us is, tell me about your company. Now, there's a particular way I teach doing that, and that's simply saying, would it help if I tell you a little bit about my company? And when they say yes, in essence, they've asked you about their company, and then you deliver your brief commercial or 30-second commercial or elevator pitch, whatever you want to call it, and you're not telling them everything about everything. You're just answering their unasked question, what is it about your company, so that they get a little bit of information, and now they're going to feel comfortable about answering your questions, and that's step number 3. This is where your sale gets made or lost, in the question asking phase. And the questions, and this comes up for me all the time, people are constantly asking me, well, Jeff, if questions are the key to selling, what questions do I need to be asking? Which is a great question. The questions, and this is a little confusing, but I'm going to try to make it simple. The questions we need to ask are the questions that uncover for us, the seller, what makes sense to our prospect about whatever we have to sell them. So I'm going to give you an example, which will make that more clear. So I'm going to say it again. The questions we have to ask are the questions that uncover for us what makes sense to our prospect regarding what we have to sell them. And the reason I want to know that, the reason I want to find out what makes sense to them is because we do everything we do because it makes sense to do those things. So for example, before I got on this call with you, he's laying behind me, so I got to spell this. I WALKED'd the DOG. If I said that right now, he would have jumped up, and it's not time for that. Although he definitely does need to go. He's not happy with the snow that's going on here in the Northeast. So I did that because I knew I was going to be on with you guys for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, something like that. And I didn't want him to have an accident in the house. I also slammed some food down my throat before we got on this call because I hadn't eaten breakfast. It's past lunchtime. I was hungry. When you're hungry, it makes sense to eat. When the DOG has to go OUT, it makes sense to take him OUT. And again, sorry, I had to spell that because I don't want him jumping up right now because I can't take him OUT in the middle of this conversation. So we do everything we do because it makes sense, including buy stuff. So we have to find out what makes sense to our prospect about what we have to sell them. And the beauty of this is what makes sense to them is whatever they're doing now or whatever they've done in the past. So we ask a bunch of questions to find out whatever we have to offer them, how are they taking care of that now? If you're a weight loss coach, I want to find out, what are you doing now to lose weight? If you're a relationship coach, what are you doing now to improve your relationships? So we're going to ask all kinds of questions that help us uncover what makes sense to them, which is whatever they're doing now, in order to show them a better way. Because when you show people a better way in your presentation, it should make better sense. And if people buy because it makes sense, and they do, you should be closing business. But before we make our presentation, we have to verify or confirm the answers that we got from our questions, because sometimes we hear the answer incorrectly, and sometimes the prospect doesn't know how to answer the question well. So we have to confirm or verify by paraphrasing back to them, just saying, "Hey, if I heard you right, I think you told me that you're not sleeping well, and your knees hurt all the time, and the doctor thinks you might have prediabetes, and you're overweight, and all these things are bothering you. Is that about right?" Well, when you confirm like that, you're either going to hear, "Yes, that's absolutely right," Or you're going to hear, no, that's wrong. And the person who you're speaking with will correct you. They'll give you better information. And that's just human nature. If for example, I'm talking to a prospect about sales training and I say, so if I heard you right, you told me you had 20 salespeople and they actually told me they had 30, then they're probably going to go, no, I have 30. Because if I'm wrong and they correct me, they're right. And everybody loves to be right. So this technique works beautifully to make sure you've got good information on which to base your presentation, your proposal, your plan, because that's the next step. Now, at this point, that's when you tell people, here's how I can help you. And you explain to them very clearly what you'll do, where you'll take them, how you'll take them from point A to point B, wherever they're looking to get to, and how you're going to specifically address whatever their concerns are and whatever their situation is. Step number 6 is negotiate if needed. And I put if needed in parentheses. I'm not a big fan of negotiation, even though I teach people how to do it. I don't do it myself. When I tell somebody my price, that's my price, period. But I also know that in many cultures, in many industries, and just some people just love to negotiate. So certainly this would be the time after you've made your presentation and given your pricing. If you need to negotiate, you do that. And then, of course, the last step is always ask for the business. The goal of every sales process is to get to the end of the process and have the prospect say, sounds good, sign me up. I want you to be my coach. I want you to consult at my company. I want you to whatever it is you're offering. But most people still need to have that invitation at the end because their mind is telling them, what if this goes wrong? What if I hire Goldberg as my coach or my trainer and it doesn't work out? What if? That's the way our brain works when we're making a buying decision. So we want to make it easy for them to choose to do business with us. And it's not about magic words. It's not about closing tricks. And it's not even about your charisma. It's just you need a structure that you can follow every single time. So when you have a structure, you get more yeses because you're leading people through a process that works. When you lead them through a structure, when you have a structure, you're having better conversations. And that's what this is all about. It's less awkward. They're not squirming in their seat. They're not checking their watch every 2 minutes to see if you're done. It's less awkward because there's no fumbling. You're not hoping they're going to decide. You're going to help lead them to a decision that's right for them. Of course, when you have a structure, you have more income because if you're converting more clients into customers, then you're going to have more income. You're serving more people. You get to be rewarded for that. And of course, you're going to have more confidence because when you have a structure that's been proven to work, that's repeatable and easy to implement and easy to use, you stop second guessing. And that's what the Sales Confidence Lab is all about. And the Sales Confidence Lab, it's a program, 12-week program that I've run it fully once, and we're just about ending. We're 2/3 of the way through the second one. Nikki, you can see on your screen if you're watching live, was in my first course, and Nikki is amazing. She's a mindset coach. If you can't sleep at night, Nikki will help you sleep better at night. If you've got things holding you back, Nikki will help you get rid of the things that are holding you back. And she's able to do it in incredibly short periods of time in many instances. But Nikki was having a lot of meetings. She's unbelievably cool. She's great, but she was having a lot of meetings and nothing was converting. One reason was the people who were taking meetings with her did not realize that these were sales calls. These people thought that they were networking. And that's nothing against Nikki. Nikki's absolutely wonderful in every way. I adore her. But she was using networking opportunity calls, networking one-on-ones as sales calls. If the other person doesn't know that they're there to have a sales conversation with you, it's unlikely that the result is going to be good. However, after Nikki went through the Sales Confidence Lab and learning the Confident Enrollment Method, she started closing more business, and she has clients asking her for longer engagements. Her typical engagement can be anywhere from 1 day to a month. She's now doing 6-month engagements because people are so excited about talking to her that they want more Nikki. Another gentleman who was in the first class, his name is Hai. He owns a company that does software, a custom software. Brilliant guy, amazing company. Helps other businesses create efficiencies, make their people more productive. I mean, he does really, really cool stuff. Very smart guy, very funny guy, by the way, too. His small company does really, really cool work. And Hai didn't want to be pushy. The last thing he wanted to do was be seen as a pushy salesperson. Well, the Confidence Lab is a 12-week program. After the 4th week, Hai wrote to me and said he was already closing 25% more people than just 4 weeks before. Now, here's the thing. It's called the Sales Confidence Lab. I'm a damn confident guy, and I know I produce great results, but there was no way I expected anybody, even after 12 weeks, let alone after 4 weeks of the program, to be closing 25% better. High's confidence soared, and so is his business, and so is his income. So here's where you get to decide. You can either keep hoping people say yes and keep doing what you're doing, and we all know the definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. So you can do nothing and nothing will change, or you can learn how to use the structure that I just laid out for you. And of course, in the Sales Confidence Lab, we go into detail about every step, and there's way more than just me training you, I promise. I can help you feel more confident and serve more clients at a higher level and earn more money. So the Sales Confidence Lab is a live 12-week program. We do it via Zoom. It's 2 hours a week for 12 weeks where accidental sellers and professional salespeople, again, I didn't design this for professional salespeople, but I have professional salespeople joining it because they want more confidence. They want more technique. They want more methodology that's going to help them close more business. So in this program, the very first session is all about the mindset of selling. We have to get rid of that thought that you got to be pushy or salesy or anything like that. You don't. So the entire first session is just helping you get rid of the head trash and getting your mindset right so that you can go through the program successfully. And the rest of the sessions, 2 of them are devoted 100% to prospecting. How do you find new business? How do you find new people to speak to? And the other session, let's see, 12, 9 of the sessions are 8 of the 1 of the sessions is mindset. The 8 are all about the program that I just showed you, the 7 steps of the sale, where I go into great detail about each one and more. By the way, the reason that there's one extra one is because in 1 week, in week 10, we don't meet at all, except I meet with everybody one-on-one. Everybody who goes through the lab meets with me one-on-one, so I can do one-on-one role playing and one-on-one coaching. But in the lab, after about the 3rd or 4th week, we start actually practicing live with each other. Now, that's called role playing in sales, and professional salespeople don't like to role play. And when they do it, they tend to beat each other up, make fun of each other, ridicule each other. There's none of that in the lab. The Sales Confidence Lab is a safe space if you're a coach, if you're a consultant, if you're a creative, if you're a solopreneur, if you're a small business owner who doesn't want to be embarrassed like that. I've created the Sales Confidence Lab as a safe space where everybody can come in, practice, learn, practice, make mistakes, and get better. Nobody's judging you here. Nobody's knocking you. We don't even give feedback unless somebody asks for it. So it's a very safe place to work out. And this is not a course that you buy and then never watch. This is a live program where we meet every once a week for 12 weeks in a row, where you're actually interacted with me and up to 28 other people. I max this out at 28 because I want to be able to work with everybody. I want to be able to answer your questions during the week in between sessions if you're emailing me. And if we go over 28, I really can't give you the time and attention that you deserve if you're going to go through the lab. So that's the most that will ever be in the lab, 28 people. So what you get is a weekly 2-hour live session with me and a bunch of other people in similar situations to yourself. We get role play practice where you're actually going to practice real scenarios in a safe space. You get a proven process, which I just ran through for you very, very quickly, but we go into great detail about each one and exactly how to do it. And you get personalized feedback from myself and the other members of the lab. We are a supportive community. And not only are we a supportive community, we've got an online community that everybody who's been through the program can hang out in. I also record all the sessions, and all the recordings go there, as well as the decks I use. So you can always go back and refresh your memory. If you even miss a session, you can go and check it out, and you get real practice. So you can apply immediately what you learn, and your actual discovery calls and your actual sales go better, and you have more confidence, which means you're going to enroll more clients. You're not just going to learn this framework. This is not one of those things where it says, okay, let me learn it and figure out how to do it. I'm going to take you through it step by step. You're going to learn it, you're going to live it, you're going to practice it, and you're going to use it on real calls with real prospects. If that's not something you'd want, if you don't want to have that kind of accountability, if you don't want to have that kind of support, this program is not right for you. So is it right for you? Only you can make that decision. But if you're having discovery calls regularly and they're not turning into clients, this program may very well be right for you. If you want more clients on a consistent basis, if you want to get, if you're tired of the ups and downs of selling, a good month followed by a bad month, or a good quarter followed by a bad quarter, this is the right program for you. If you want structure and confidence instead of just figuring things out as you go along and hoping for the best, this program is right for you. And if you want to feel good about enrolling people. Not feel pushy, not feel salesy, not feel bad about asking for money. If you want to feel good about enrollment, the Sales Confidence Lab is right for you. I'm offering a special fast action bonus. If you enroll today, you'll get $100 off if you use the coupon code webinar100 at the checkout. You'll see a place that says coupon. Just put in webinar 100. That will take $100 off. And this discount rewards you or anybody who makes fast decisions and takes actions. The investment in the program is $14.95. And if you do it today, it's minus $100. You can handle it all at once, or there is a monthly option if you want to make 3 payments. And I'm so confident that this program is going to work for you. 100% confident that if any time during the first 30 days you feel for whatever reason, this isn't working for me, I don't like it, I don't like Jeff, I don't think he's funny, whatever your reason is, all you have to do is email me and say, hey, Jeff, I'd like my money back, and you'll immediately get your money back. I'm not looking to keep your money if you're not happy. And no questions, no hassle. You just say, hey, Jeff, I want my money back, and I will give it to you, because that's how confident I am that this program will transform your enrollment process. There are 28 seats available right now. Our next program is starting in a couple of weeks. We just opened it up for registration. It starts on March 5th. We'll only let 28 people in. So if this is something you are interested in, now would be the time to jump on. You can go to salesconfidencelab.com, salesconfidencelab.com, or you can use the QR code on your screen right now, which will take you to the same place. If you have questions for me and you'd like to have a brief meeting with me first, you can absolutely email me at jeff@salesconfidencelab.com. I don't think I've given anybody there's my calendar. Well, you have to look at it. Okay, we'll go back to that in a second. Here's my last thought. You just need to have better conversations. You're probably great at what you do, but if you're not closing enough business, if you're not serving enough clients, then it's not about being the one with the biggest audience or the biggest following on LinkedIn or on social media. It's not about being a superhero. And I love AI. That is me and my dog, Duke, the super sales bug, dressed up as superheroes. But you already have everything you need to close your business, to grow your business. You've got the skills to do it. You've got the heart. You've got clients who need you. There are people right now, right this second, waiting for you because they need what you've got. The only thing missing is a structure that you can lead them through so that it helps you invite them in, and we can fix that together. So if you do have questions, feel free to give me a call. My number is 516-314-9037. Again, you can email me at jeff@salesconfidencelab. Here's a couple of common questions, which I'll answer very quickly. Then we're going to finish this up. First of all, I'm often asked, what if I can't make it to the live sessions? What if I can only make it to 9 or 10 or 11? No problem. I record every session, and that same day, the recording goes into our online community, which you have access to as part of the program. So you can always make them up that way, or you can review them at any time. I like to say lifetime, but you'll be able to review them in my lifetime, because when I die, I'm not going to be setting it up so that the company where I host these keeps getting paid. So for my lifetime, you'll have access. Will this work for me in my specific coaching niche? Yes, absolutely, positively. This works for anybody in any industry. There's no particular niche that needs this more than others, or any niche that it doesn't work for. How much time do you need to commit each week? Well, each session is up to 2 hours. At least an hour is training, and then there's role playing, and often there's a lot of Q&A. I often take questions where people can ask me anything about sales, anything about particular deals they're working on, where I'll give them advice. So you need at least 2 hours a week, plus another 10 minutes to do an accountability call, because everybody in the program has an accountability partner that they work with to get together once a week to make sure that you're doing the homework, to make sure that you're getting everything you need out of it. And I'm finding that the accountability partners are often spending more than 10 minutes with each other. They're role playing with each other. They're making friends and connections. So you need at least 2 hours and 10 minutes a week for 12 weeks. And the other thing is, what if I'm brand new to sales? What if I'm brand new to enrolling people? What if I'm a brand new coach? Perfect. You don't have any bad habits. This is the perfect program for you. So again, you can email me at jeff@salesconfidencelab if you have questions, or you can, if you can't copy this, well, you can't copy this link. If you can't write it down very quickly, then you can just email me, and I'll be happy to send you back a link to my calendar. We can have a 5, 10, 15-minute talk about whether this is right for you. I'll answer any questions, and I'll send you to a page where you can register if you want to. I'm not going to be pushy with you. If I'm not going to teach you to be pushy, I guarantee you I'm not going to be pushing with you. Remember, the enrollment link is available available now. I'll bring back the QR code just for a second or two, or you could just go to salesconfidencelab.com, which is exactly where this QR code will take you. There's a lot more information on that page, as well as information for how to register if you are interested. And again, I'd love to have you in the lab if you feel it would be useful to you. And if you have any questions, just reach out to me anytime. It's my pleasure. You'll get immediate access to the community once you register. And my experience is the last thing I'll say before I go. My experience is once you register for any program, things start happening, even before the program starts. Years and years ago, I took a program called the 6-Day Advanced Course. It was part of the EST training, or the Landmark Forum. And they said, the program begins the minute you enroll. In my mind, I went, that's crazy. Come on. The program begins when I actually get there and I sit in the lectures and do the exercise and stuff like that. Well, they proved me wrong. The program actually did start the minute I enrolled, and yours will too. So I'd love to have you in the lab. Again, if you have any questions, you can reach out to Jeff@salesconfidencelab.com. And I thank you so much for listening today and watching. And if I can help you, it would be my pleasure. Have a great day, everybody.